Pekudi, accounts of Genesis chapter 38, verse 21. These are the parts of the tabernacle, of the tabernacle of the testimony, which was appointed by the commandment of Moses for the office of the Levites, by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. So Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. And with him Holiab, son of Ahisamach, the tribe of Dan, a cunning workman and an embroiderer, and a worker of needlework in blue silk, and in purple, and in scarlet, and in fine linen. All the gold that was occupied in all the work wrought for the holy place, which was the gold of the offering, was 29 talents, and 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. But the silver of them that were numbered in the congregation was 100 talents, with 1,775 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, portion for a man, that is, half a shekel, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for all them that were numbered from 20 years old and above, among 600,000 and 3,550 men. Moreover, there were 100 talents of silver, to cast the sockets of the sanctuary, and the sockets of the veil, and 100 sockets of 100 talents, a talent for a socket. He made the hooks for the pillars of 1,775 shekels, and overlaid their capiters, and made fillets about them. Also the brass of the offering was 70 talents, and 2,400 shekels, whereof he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the brazen altar, and the brazen grate, which was for it, with all the instruments of the altar, and the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets for the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. Exodus chapter 39. Moreover, they made garments of ministration, to minister in the sanctuary, of blue silk and purple and scarlet. He made also the holy garments of Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. So he made the ephod of gold, blue silk, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And they did beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires, to work it in the blue silk, and in the purple, and in the scarlet, and in the fine linen, with broidered work, for the which they made shoulders to couple together, for it was closed by the two edges thereof. And the broidered girdle of his ephod that was upon him was of the same stuff, and of like work, even of gold, of blue silk, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they wrought 2 onyx stones, closed in ouches of gold, and graved, as signets are graven, the names of the children of Israel, and put them on the shoulders of the ephod, as stones for a remembrance of the children of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Also he made the breastplate of the broidered work, like the work of the ephod, to wit, of gold, blue silk, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And they made the breastplate double, and it was square and hand-breadth long, and hand-breadth broad. It was also double. And they filled it with 4 rows of stones. The order was thus: a ruby, a topaz, and a carbuncle in the first row, and in the second row an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. Also in the third row a turquoise, an agate, and a hematite. Likewise in the fourth row a chrysolite, an onyx, and a jasper, closed and set in ouches of gold. So the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, even 12, after their names, graven like signets, every one after his name, according to the 12 tribes. After they made upon the breastplate chains at the ends, of wreathen work in pure gold. They made also 2 bosses of gold, and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings in the 2 corners of the breastplate. And they put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings, in the corners of the breastplate. Also the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains they fastened in the 2 bosses, and put them on the shoulders of the ephod, upon the forefront of it. Likewise they made 2 rings of gold, and put them in the other 2 corners of the breastplate, upon the edge of it, which was on the inside of the ephod. They made also 2 other golden rings, and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod, beneath on the foreside of it, and over against his coupling, above the broidered girdle of the ephod. Then they fastened the breastplate by his rings into the rings of the ephod, with a lace of blue silk, that it might be fast upon the broidered girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate should not be loosened from the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moreover, he made the robe of the ephod of woven work, altogether of blue silk, and the whole of the robe was in the midst of it, as the collar of an habergeon, and an edge about the collar, that it should not rent. And they made upon the skirt of the robe pomegranates of blue silk and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. They made also bells of pure gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates on the skirts of the robe round about between the pomegranates, a bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, round about the skirts of the robe to minister in, as the Lord commanded Moses. After they made coats of fine linen, of woven work for Aaron and his sons, and the mitre of fine linen, and goodly bonnets of fine linen, and linen breeches of fine twined linen, and the girdle of fine twined linen, and of blue silk, and of purple and scarlet, even of needlework, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally they made the plate for the holy crown of fine gold, and wrote upon it a superscription, like to the graving of a signet, Holiness to the Lord. And they tied unto it a lace of blue silk, to fasten it on high upon the mitre, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus was all the work of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of the congregation, finished. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so did they. Afterward they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tabernacle and all its instruments, his taches, his boards, his bars, his pillars, and his sockets, and the covering of ram's skin dyed red, and the coverings of badger skins, and the covering veil, the ark of the testimony, and the bars thereof, and the mercy seat, the table, and all the instruments thereof, and the showbread, the pure candlestick, the lamps thereof, even the lamps set in order, and all the instruments thereof, and oil for light, also the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging of the tabernacle door, the brazen altar and his grate of brass, his bars and all his instruments, the laver and his foot, the curtains of the court with his pillars, and his sockets, and the hanging to the court gate, and his cords, and his pins, and all the instruments of the service of the tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation. Finally, ministering garments to serve in the sanctuary, and the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and his sons' garments to minister in the priest's office, according to every point that the Lord had commanded Moses. So the children of Israel made all the work, and Moses beheld all the work, and behold, they had done it as the Lord had commanded, so had they done, and Moses blessed them. Exodus chapter 40. Then the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, In the first day of the first month, in the very first of the same month, shalt thou set up thy tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover the ark with the veil. Also thou shalt bring in the table, and set it in order as it doth require. Thou shalt also bring in the candlestick, and light his lamps. And thou shalt set the incense altar of gold before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging on the door of the tabernacle. Moreover, thou shalt set the burnt offering altar before the door of the tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt set the laver between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and put water therein. Then thou shalt appoint the court round about, and hang up the hangings at the court gate. After thou shalt take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle and all that is therein, and hallow it with all the instruments thereof, that it may be holy. And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering, and all his instruments, and shalt sanctify the altar, that it may be an altar most holy. Also thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot, and shalt sanctify it. Then thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water. Thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and shalt anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. Thou shalt also bring his sons, and clothe them with garments, and shalt anoint them as thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. For their anointing shall be a sign, that the priesthood shall be an everlasting unto them throughout their generations. So Moses did according to all that the Lord had commanded him, so did he. Thus was the tabernacle reared up the first day of the first month in the second year. Then Moses reared up the tabernacle, and fastened his sockets, and set up the boards thereof, and put in the bars of it, and reared up his pillars. And he spread the covering over the tabernacle, but the covering of that covering on high above it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he took and put the testimony in the ark, and put the bars in the rings of the ark, and set the mercy seat on high upon the ark. He brought also the ark into the tabernacle, and hanged up the covering veil, and covered the ark of the testimony, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Furthermore, he put the table of the tabernacle of the congregation in the north side of the tabernacle without the veil, set the bread in order before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Also he put the candlestick in the tabernacle of the congregation, over against the table toward the south side of the tabernacle, and he lighted the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moreover, he set the golden altar in the tabernacle of the congregation before the veil, and burnt sweet incense thereon, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Also he hanged up the veil at the door of the tabernacle. After, he set the burnt offering altar without the door of the tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation, and offered the burnt offering and the sacrifice thereon, as the Lord commanded Moses. Likewise he set the laver between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and poured water therein to wash with. So Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat, when they went into the tabernacle of the congregation. And when they approached to the altar, they washed, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and hanged up the veil at the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So Moses could not enter into the tabernacle of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Now when the cloud ascended up from the tabernacle, the children of Israel went forward in all their journeys. But if the cloud ascended not, then they journeyed not, till the day that it ascended. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was in it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel, throughout all their journeys.